If you're thinking about starting a business or side hustle on Fiverr, don't waste your time. There are so many different ways you can start a business, and with the same amount of time and energy, you could actually make so much more money than if you launched on one of those platforms. So while Fiverr and other websites like it can be some sort of small strategy for you to find new customers or some side income for yourself, it shouldn't be the primary way you make income or grow your business. And here's 4 reasons why. The first reason is it just takes time. It takes a lot of time to learn a new platform. You have to develop credibility and authority. You have to get good ratings on the gigs that you're offering. A lot of times offering those for free in the beginning in exchange for just good reviews. You have to figure out how to get ranked so that once you post your gig, you're actually getting found by people and you can start making sales. You have to figure out what is actually going to be working on the platform when it comes to developing the thumbnail for your gig. The description you have to put in place for people to actually buy from you. You have to figure out how to craft keywords in order to show up in search results for various searches on the platform. And on top of all that, at the end of the day, you may still have to run ads to your actual gig in order to find the growth that you're looking for. So while you can figure all this stuff out and you can put in the work and you can make it work, it's not gonna happen overnight. So don't think you can just go create a profile on Fiverr, launch some gigs and start making money right away. Usually doesn't work like that. Point number 2 is super important. I cannot stress this enough. When you work on platforms like Fiverr and Upwork, you do not own your own customer. What do I mean by that? Well, you don't have their email address, you don't have their phone number, and if you want to work with them again outside of the platform, it's actually against those sites' terms of service. It's illegal. You can't do it without getting in big trouble. And so it's really hard to grow your business as a result of that. A customer list is one of the biggest assets a business can have. And the reason is it's just so much easier to sell more product or service to an existing happy customer than it is to go find a new customer. Finding new customers is really hard, and you're gonna have to go through a lot of people to find someone that finally buys from you. Whereas if you can just add a new product or service or offer a new promotion to the list of existing customers you already have, you can grow so much faster. And every new customer you add gets added to that pool and your business grows. And this brings me to point number 3, which is every time you do a job or perform a gig on one of the platforms like Fiverr or Upwork, they actually charge you a commission. As of this taping, Fiverr charges 20% every time you make a sale on their platform. So 20% to find a new customer, not such a big deal. But the problem is that every time that customer buys a new gig from you on the platform, you're paying 20% over and over and over again. And that's a problem because long term, that's gonna hurt your business. If you wanted to find a customer off of Fiverr or Upwork, and you were gonna go in the real world, you're gonna have some customer acquisition cost. Essentially, you're gonna have to buy some ads or produce flyers or make phone calls in order to find new customers, and that costs money. But the nice thing about doing that offline is you're able to keep that customer contact information. So you only have to do that once. The customer only has to call you once from a flyer or from an online ad, and then you have their information, and anytime you want to resell something to them again, it's free. You don't have to pay for ads again to convince them to buy from you. You've got their information. It's super easy to develop that relationship with the customers, build your list, and grow the business that way. And so it's much, much, much cheaper to own your customer data and avoid those 20% fees every single time you do something for one of your customers. So with that said, I'm gonna go into a little bit of a rant. So soapbox warning, as I was preparing for this video, I watched a ton of YouTubers talk about how to make money or how to make thousands of dollars on Fiverr or Upwork. And it's really funny because they would post all these screenshots of thousands of dollars of sales they made every single day on Upwork and Fiverr. And their strategy was reselling other people's services. So literally they would go to Fiverr and post a gig for like $100. So let's say they had a logo making gig for $100. And then they would turn around and go to Upwork and find someone overseas to do it for 75 or 80 bucks. And then basically anytime they sold a gig on Fiverr, they'd turn around and hire the person on Upwork and then pocket the difference. And while that can work if you do that in volume, I would just encourage you to avoid that trap. There's a so much better way to do that. And you can make so much more money for the same amount of time. Point number 4 is real profit comes providing value to customers. I think it comes from more than just reselling someone else's service. There's so much free content or inexpensive content out there on the internet. Go build your skill set. Instead of reselling that $100 logo project, you could have just built the logo yourself for the customer and kept all $100 instead of just pocketing the difference. And it's not that hard. You can go, there's online courses you can go find and pay a little money for, and I'm sure you would make the money back on that in just a few gigs. Or YouTube has so much free content. I know you know how to search for that stuff. You go watch a few videos, do some free logos for some folks and get some practice under your belt, and you could just do that yourself and pocket all of the money. If you invest in yourself and your own skills and abilities, you're gonna make so much more money long term than just reselling other things. So if you're thinking about using sites like Fiverr or Upwork to go make some money, I would really encourage you to stop and think a little bigger. I think you would be much more successful and be able to make so much more money if you just started a business for yourself. If you built a business with a customer list that has ongoing, regular, repeat purchases, that's something you could sell one day. So not only are you making regular income from the business, but one day you could sell that and make even more from it. You're essentially creating long-term value, and that's not something that you can create on Fiverr or Upwork. So if you're thinking to yourself, well, that sounds great, but how do you start a business? That sounds really complicated. And so we actually put together a video for you to show you step-by-step how to launch a business in just 5 days. So if you're serious about creating some additional income for yourself, if you're serious about becoming an entrepreneur, go check out that video, and in 5 days, I promise you, you're gonna be on the right track.